Hello everybody, this is IndieGeek, and today I'm taking a look at the newly released Age of Wonders 3. So this is a game from Triumph Studios. It costs $40 and is out on Steam now. And of course, as always, I will link in the description to where you can purchase it for yourself on Steam. I should say real quickly, I did not play Age of Wonders 1 or 2, but I saw some trailers for Age of Wonders 3 and it looked like something that would kind of be interesting to me, so here I am checking it out. I will say right off the bat there is a ton of content and I'm not going to go into a lot of it in the video, but I'll kind of quickly discuss it. There is online multiplayer, so you can play against friends, stuff like that. What I'm going to mostly do is the campaign mode, but then there are also scenarios which you can play, which I'm going to compare a lot of this to Civilization 5, because that is what I'm most familiar with in kind of this style of game, and a lot of it kind of correlates. So these are similar to like the scenarios in a game like Civilization. There are also random maps you can play. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump into a new campaign. I've played like 3 hours of this, and in that time I think I've lost the first campaign on the easiest difficulty 4 times. So I don't know if I'm bad or if it's hard. I'm pretty sure I read in the upcoming patch notes that they are working on some difficulty tweaking, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of that is not necessarily my fault. So as you can see here, there are 2 campaigns. The Elven Court is the easier of the 2 according to the game, so that is the one that I'm going to start with. And I'm probably just going to skip past a lot of this story here,
the Wheel of Ages turns,
mostly because it goes on for a while, and that is stuff that you can get into if you want. It's not totally necessary to understand the game.
My father is
a lot of it is just kind of extra to the game, if that makes sense. It's basically story there if you want a story to this, and you know, that's by no means saying that it's a bad story, but it's certainly not like going to be necessary to talk about my thoughts on the game. And I should say I'm playing on medium settings. My computer can handle more. I just didn't want to risk kind of having some issues recording. I wanted it to look nice and smooth for you, so the graphics do go a little bit better. I mean, the graphics don't affect this kind of game that much. You know, it's like, you know, same thing with Civ. You know, you can have good graphics, but it doesn't make a huge difference in terms of what you actually see. So, this is introducing us to our Tome of Wonders, and what I like here is it kind of tutorializes stuff as much as you want. So like here I can click on the blue link and it'll take us to the Tome of Wonders, which is huge. I mean, if there's ever a term you see, ever anything that you'd like to know about the game, this is like the place to go. But I'm not going to be spending a lot of time looking at these hints. I'm kind of just going to go through the first sort of couple mini missions here. So this is just teaching us how to merge armies, which I already did. You just kind of move an army over another army and that merges them. As you can see, each of the things in our army has a different kind of turn limit, so I can't move anymore, so I end the turn. The other people will move and then it's my turn again. That's, you know, basically what's going on here. This is actually a feature I like a lot, and it's going to sound bad, but you can choose manual combat or auto combat. I will choose manual here, but like it tells you how likely you are to win. So if I get like a very likely win, I just click auto combat, because sometimes I don't necessarily want to go through it if it's going to be easy anyways. Again, it pulls up the Tome of Wonders, and I'm not going to deal with that right now. So, we have some units that are ranged, we have some units that are melee, of course, and then this is ourself. So we are the army leader. We don't want to die, because if we die, it's game over. And that goes for at any point throughout the entire game, if we die, it's game over. For a lot of this, you can kind of think of us having kind of 3 action points. It doesn't really work out quite that way, but essentially, like, we can move a certain amount, and if we move too much, then we don't have as many action points to attack, right? So, like, you're seeing me attack twice in some of these turns. Technically, like, so there I was 3. So technically I could attack 3 every turn, but it would depend on me not spending so many points moving. So, like, if I were to move a whole lot, then I might only be able to attack once, or not at all even. So that is what's going on there. So that took them out. Or did it? No, almost. But I'll finish them off there. Unfortunately, you can only attack once, so even though I technically should have had points left over there, I couldn't use them, but that's fine. My strategy here a lot of the time is to try and keep things kind of ranged, because if you get in too close, things quickly become bad. But now that things are close, I may kind of head in with some melee units. So a lot of times, like, I'll want to weaken these guys with some ranged units and then go in and finish them off with melee. But this kind of covers the kind of combat aspects of the game. That is how the combat will play out every single time. So that was my first kind of mission here. And we get kind of our mission told through this story. So that was our first mission, and then we will get more missions. So I can choose here to either take the ruby ring or take the gold. I'm gonna take the reward because gold is really, really easy to come by. Especially because pretty soon here we're gonna get into more of the kind of civilization aspects that I was talking about. And I should say, it's not like this is like a carbon copy of Civ, you know. This is definitely going to provide you a different kind of experience. So this is the main story here. We are at war with this guy now. It gives us the option to negotiate, but we actually can't. Like, I've tried negotiating, and we can't in this situation, at least not that I can tell, because I believe that is supposed to be kind of the main story here, is that we are supposed to take him out. Of course, like I said earlier, I have not been able to do so, so again, a very likely victory. If I was playing on my own, I may choose to just auto-combat it, if it's this likely, but that's fine. I do like that you can choose the speed that the enemy's turns go at, so I like to do that. The combat, of course, is where it really does differ from Civ, because pretty soon here we are going to see some of the like city building aspects and like civilization management aspects of the game, and those are very much like Civ, and that's fine. You know, I like that a lot. Personally, those are the parts of the game I like more, if that makes sense. Of course, like I said, I am coming from sort of somewhat of a background in Civ. You know, I've played a lot of Civ. So again, not to continue to kind of compare this over and over, but I think the comparison is somewhat necessary. Yeah, I don't know. This is... maybe I should have just auto-battled this. I'm not doing too well. But that's okay. I wanted to do this. This is actually, like, really good the way this will work out, because I'll get to show off a couple of battles here, and then I'm going to move into the city stuff, which will be happening basically as soon as this battle is done, so that's kind of nice. If possible, I want to just move them away. I don't know, they're going to get messed up. Let's see if I've got a spell that's useful. This is basically what I can do with the army leaders. I can cast spells. So I guess I could do the Rain of Poison Blades. Yep, that's what I want to do right there. That seemed to be pretty helpful. Yeah, I will say, like, the combat is not necessarily for me, and I think it's going to be one of those things where your mileage may vary. Of course, I'm assuming that it's pretty similar to the original Age of Wonders as well as Age of Wonders 2, so yeah, you can see we got a ton of little notifications here. I'm mostly just going to kind of click through a lot of them. A lot of them are not really relevant to us right now. So this is the city aspect. So, like, I now have control of this city. And this is actually my throne city, so you can kind of think of it as like your capital in Civ. So this is what's going on, and I can choose to produce certain things. So like I might produce merchandise, which will basically give me more gold for a couple days. Well, actually a day. So we can see how many days of production basically these things take. And then I might want to produce a couple of the cheaper things. And just like in Civ, you can think of this as basically, you know, we're going to research certain buildings, and then with those buildings we will be able to build certain troops. Like that's kind of how the progression works, is as we research things, more things unlock. And with more things unlocking, we've got a better chance of kind of having more success, if that makes sense. But honestly, there isn't too much more to really talk about. So I might, you know, let a couple more turns play out. But this is kind of the basic overview of what's going on in Age of Wonders 3. Like I said, I am by no means, you know, perfect at this game. I'm not even close. I've got a lot to learn. And, you know, I think kind of the big thing to take away from this is, like I said, I have not played any Age of Wonders before, but I will be playing a lot more of this one. You know, I'm having a good time. I think it's been kind of a weird transition coming from Civ, if that makes sense, because at times I would feel like, okay, I know what's going on, this is just like in Civ, and then 5 minutes later I'd be like, oh, okay, this is not like Civ at all. And again, not to kind of harp on the similarities or dissimilarities of Civ over and over, but I think it is something worth mentioning in case you are in a similar position to what I was, having not played. I am going to actually auto-combat this one, because I'm just kind of wrapping my thoughts up here. But, you know, all of that being said, I will definitely be playing more of this, and when the update comes out soon, which is supposed to fix some things, as well as, like I said, they're talking about balancing some of the difficulty, I am going to play some more of it and may kind of give some updated thoughts on it afterwards, because depending on how it works after the potential difficulty tweaking, my thoughts on the game might be very different. Not that they're at all bad right now. You know, I don't know, it's weird because this is like the 4th time I've played through this part of the game, and I guess what's frustrating right now is that I can't necessarily figure out where I'm going wrong when I'm playing. And again, like I said, I don't know if that's my bad or if it really just does come down to some difficulty issues right now. But, you know, with that being said, that is kind of my overall thoughts on the game. Yeah, I'm having a good time with it, and I think if you are into this kind of game, if you're into kind of this strategic kind of city building and in some cases fighting, that kind of stuff, if you are into those kind of things, if you are into games like Civilization, if you're into any of that stuff, I definitely think this is, you know, a good pickup for you. If not, you know, if you're not into those kind of things normally, it may be for you. I don't know, that's hard to say because, like I said, I'm having some difficulty issues, which makes me think maybe it's not the most user-friendly at the beginning. So, just something to think about. But overall, I'm definitely having a good time. I think it is, you know, it's definitely a polished game. It's really well put together. It looks good, sounds good, plays well. I'm having a good time with it. Of course, you know, like I said, this is only the campaign, so there's definitely a lot more to it as well. But that is, that's gonna wrap up my thoughts here. So I definitely recommend this if you are normally into this kind of game. And if not, you know, take a look at it, look at what I talked about, the points I mentioned, and if it sounds like something for you, you know, I say pick it up, say go for it. So, yeah, that will wrap this one up. So, as always, feel free to leave comments if there's anything that you would like to comment on. Subscribe to the channel to see more of my videos every single day. And if you liked this episode of my impressions videos, my look at Age of Wonders 3, then please consider clicking the like button, because that helps me out a ton, and I definitely appreciate everything that you do to help. So with all of that being said, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.